What's going on, everybody? How are you? It's 8:30. That means it's time for Cocktails in the War Room. Thank you for joining me every night at 8:30 as we try to get through this stay-at-home order, social distancing, coronavirus, COVID-19 fiasco. How are you guys holding up today? How was your Saturday? Are your weekends different than like weekdays? Do you have an essential worker in the house that's not around during the week, but maybe the weekend is a little bit different? Or is it just Groundhog Day for you like it kind of is for me? Kind of how it is. Like you wake up to a snoring pug blowing snots in your face every morning, and it's time to basically get up, make coffee, walk the dogs, and kind of every day is kind of the same at this point. Especially, as somebody that for a really long time was considered an essential worker, I don't think I've ever been out of work for this long. Even after I got in my motorcycle accident, I think I was back to work within a month. So this is it's very strange. Yeah, another day in paradise, says Eric. Exactly. Jamie says Bloody Marys today. Oh, well, there you go. Taking my final exams and then headed to the front line, says Dina. So, well, good luck on your finals and stay safe at work, obviously. Drea says, because my husband's home on the weekend. So that's what I'm talking about. Like during the week, you kind of have one life depending on what's going on and who's in your house. Hi, Joe from Situate. And then, on the weekends, it's a little bit different. And today, at least, it wasn't raining. So we had a couple days where the weather was awful. Like Jeff says, went for a 90-minute walk today. I spent a lot of time outside today too, and it actually felt really good. Hi, Jen. What's up, Lindsay? So being able to go outside kind of helps a little bit. That's why it says on the video, I'm a fucking farmer, because today I busted out my overalls that you guys saw a few weeks ago on my video, and I rototilled my garden. And it felt really good to just get outside and get behind that beast. My rototiller is one of my favorite things in the world. And Paula says, essential worker, Monday through Friday. And today I took a 5-mile walk and now drinking sangria. Did anybody else make Fernandez's sangria? Did you guys try it? I just spilled sangria all over my foot. I wanted to show you guys the glass. I found an old WAF pint glass. Did you guys try, Dina says the sun was beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Did you guys try making Fernandez's sangria? Did you have all of the ingredients? Oh, Ed, this is great. Having a fire outside with the wife and kids drinking beers. I have not set my fire pit up yet, but I think tomorrow I'm going to dig through the garage and pull out the patio furniture and get the fire pit ready to go. Because I started thinking, I'm like, okay, so if you set up the fire pit outside and you had a friend or two come over, social distance safety, and you just hung out outside at a safe distance apart from each other, is it possible to safely try and socialize? I mean, we'd obviously have to ask our Lord and Savior, Dr. Fauci, but being able to be outside would be really good. I got together with some of the neighbors today, and we all stood on opposite sides of the street, but we let all the dogs play. And so Wednesday, as you might imagine, is assed out right now because she was running around with all the neighborhood dogs. The neighbor's dog, Jeff Dog. They call the dog Jeff Dog because there's someone in the house named Jeff. And so they adopted a dog who already had the name Jeff. So they call him Jeff Dog. And then Bruin is there, and Wednesday, and her best friend Zero, and all the dogs were just running laps around the house. It was awesome to see them all kind of outside and playing, and it was very cool. Frank says tequila, Sprite, and lime. Well, there you go. Can't wait to have outside fires, says Summer. Exactly. Maria says sparkling rosé in the backyard in South Cali. Hey, lady, sending you hugs. Wild Man's watching. The guy that took me on my very first skydive, Wild Man's watching right now. What's up, Wild Man? I miss you. And I got to send love to all of my skydiving friends. Obviously, that's one of the activities that is closed down nationwide. So there are a lot of people like me that could really use the stress relief of going and jumping out of an airplane right now, and we're not able to do that. So Mark Bishop says the fire would kill the germs. Ha ha ha. I don't think that's science, but I mean, we can think. Emily says, love your pretty hair. My hairdresser Linda would love to hear that. And God, do I miss her. She's going to have to FaceTime me through a dye job pretty soon. So we'll see how that goes. Bud Light watching DVR Survivor. Well, not exactly, Sean, because you're hanging out in the war room having a cocktail with me. So today, if today is your birthday, we always want to say happy birthday to anybody who's celebrating a birthday today. You are celebrating your birthday along with the great Muddy Waters and also Gary Moore, who spent time in Thin Lizzy and in Skid Row. This shirt, Making a Mess of the U.S. 1989. Dug it out of the archives for you. And I love it when bands make shirts that silkscreen up on the collar, that, you know, like they don't respect the collar, that they just kind of silkscreen over it. And I always love this shirt. This was when they opened up for Bon Jovi at the old Great Woods in 1989. Are the big gig tickets at the old station? I would assume so, yes. However, the office is not open and no one's going there to pick up tickets. So you would have to call Entercom Boston once the stay-at-home order has been lifted to figure out how you're going to get the tickets that you may have won from WAF before we went off the air. Because in case you missed it, the big gig that was supposed to happen April 25th of this year is now postponed. Hey, Diane! Is postponed to April 24th of 2021 because the DCU Center right now is a 250-bed hospital for COVID-19 patients. So obviously the big gig has been postponed. WAF.com still has all of the details on that, but as far as getting your tickets, you would have to call Entercom to get details on that, but obviously not until at least May 4th when they lift all this whole thing. What's up, Sammy? Can I just thank everybody that took pictures last night when they were having their cocktails in the war room and put the phone so that I'm in the picture with you guys. So if you haven't done that yet, do it tonight. Like if you're watching this with more than one person, use their phone to put me in the picture and then take a selfie with me in it and then tweet it at me at Mistress Carrie or tag me in it at Mistress Carrie WAF on Instagram. But I love the idea of being in all of your social distancing photos at home when you guys are having a cocktail with me in the war room. So hopefully you get me making funny faces. But take pictures and tag them with me in there so that I can see what you guys are doing while I'm sitting here in my war room, because just like when I was on the radio, I'm sitting in a room talking to myself, feeling crazy, just like I did when I had a day job, except now I can at least, it's kind of like the text line was in the studio that I get all of your comments. Wendy wants to know, Carrie, can you tell us about your necklace? People have asked me that in the past. I thought I talked about it in an earlier episode. This is called a closing pin, and it's part of a skydiving rig. So basically when you pull your chute, a little pilot chute comes out, which catches air, and then it pulls your main canopy out, and the closing pin is what holds your main canopy in place in the container. And so it's a pretty common thing in skydiving. So, you know, some people wear them, some people don't. I've worn them for years. They're actually part of what's in my tattoo as well. If you see them, I talked about my tattoo before, that it's Morse code. But instead of dots and dashes, it's suns and moons, and it's in honor of my grandfather, who was a radio operator in World War II on the USS Biloxi in the South Pacific. But on the outside edge of the tattoo are closing pins, which are this right here. So that's why I wear it. It's a skydiving thing. Let's see. Jamie, can you get unemployment? Well, I am laid off and I don't have a job, so I qualify for unemployment because I am, in fact, unemployed. I know, Ron, I want to apologize. Ron's calling me out on it. After we got done yesterday, I realized I didn't show you anything from the war room. And the reason why I forgot is that normally I pick out something that I want to show you guys in the war room. For anybody that's new to these videos, I have a room in my house. We call it the war room. It's where my bar is and all of like my military memorabilia and all the little collectibles that I've gotten over the years, all the things from my family's military service, photographs. This is kind of all where it is. And the thing that I picked out to show you guys last night is on the wall. And so I didn't have it next to me, and that's why I forgot. So I will walk over there and show you guys what I wanted to show you last night. So I apologize for forgetting. The picture that I wanted to show you guys is right here. And I will read it to you. It says, Mistress Carrie, thank you for your overwhelming dedication and support to the soldiers, airmen, and families of the Massachusetts National Guard. And it was dated April 17th, 2018, which was my 20th anniversary on the air at AAF. And it is a print of a painting that is called Stand Your Ground, which is Lexington, Massachusetts, April 19th, 1775. And it was a gift from the Adjutant General from the Massachusetts National Guard and the State Sergeant Major who came to see me in the studio on my 20th anniversary. And I love it. I think it's awesome. It's beautiful. They had it all framed and matted for me. Can you see where's the plaque? There it is right there. I know everything is backwards in the camera because I'm using the front-facing camera so I can read your comments, but I love it. And I hung it up here in the war room, and I just thought it was really cool. And then the other thing that I will show you, and this is the new thing tonight, so if you're keeping track, this was last night's thing I was going to show you. And then this thing right here is an old fallout shelter sign that came from my old junior high school. And when they closed the junior high school and turned it into a courthouse and offices, this was something that came out of it. It's an old tin sign, and I just think it's super cool. So I hung it up here in the war room. So there you go. It's the Stand Your Ground painting from Lexington from 1775. So that's what I wanted to show you. So that's the kind of, thanks, Jamie. Gee, I wonder where I got it from. So that's one of the cool things that's on the wall in here. And when I had my 20th anniversary, you know, it takes a lot to get to 20 years at one station in one city. And that day was really special for me. I mean, everybody at the radio station made such a big deal out of it. And so many people called in. And I had special visitors, kind of surprises pop by. And then to have the tag and the State Sergeant Major show up and present me with that print was pretty special and amazing. And I love looking at it. So, all right, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I try to keep you guys as informed as I can without getting too sad and depressed and political and whatever. Some good news came from HBO, and I think we should take a little bit of this credit because we were just talking about this last night, that any show that is on television right now that is not making the first few seasons of their show on demand free to get us all hooked while we're sitting around looking for stuff to watch is stupid. Well, HBO took it a step further. HBO has made every episode free with no subscription to The Sopranos, Succession, The Wire, and Veep. So if you never had HBO and you were never able to watch The Sopranos and were never able to watch The Wire, now is your chance because they're making all of the episodes free, which is huge. I might go back and just rewatch The Sopranos just because I loved that show so much. There's actually a Twitter feed that I follow that is Sopranos quotes. And sometimes when I'm scrolling through Twitter and you stumble on that, it's just friggin' funny. So you can follow that if you want. But hey, Lou says, takes a lot to stay at any job for 20 years. Be proud. Well, I had it for 22 years. Actually, April 17th of this year, in just a couple weeks, would have been my 22nd anniversary. So I'm going to round up. I'm like a month and a half short of hitting my 22nd anniversary, but I'm going to just call it 22 years. And coming up on April 11th is Wednesday's birthday. So maybe we should have a birthday party. Hi, Tammy. Hi, Scott. So we'll have to have like a dog birthday party for Wednesday in like another week. Pornhub has over 1,000 movies featuring the coronavirus. And because you can't make this stuff up. So Pornhub has decided to donate, because they had them in a warehouse as props, 50,000 surgical masks, and they are donating them to first responders and to healthcare workers in hospitals in New York City. That's the world we're living in right now. And a lot of Hollywood hospital shows like Grey's Anatomy, because they have all of this hospital equipment, they've actually donated all of the real equipment to hospitals in the areas of their filming as well. But I thought it was really interesting that there's over 1,000 coronavirus themed pornos on Pornhub. So much so that they had 50,000 stockpiled surgical masks in a warehouse, and now they've donated them, which I thought was really funny. Today would have been the Bruins' final regular season game. There is no Bruins regular season final game tonight. Like we needed to be reminded of that. Let's see. Dr. Fauci called healthcare workers brave warriors today. So as we do every night, we'll toast our brave warriors, because all of our healthcare workers, you guys just, well, every day you're showing us what the heroes that you are. And we are all so blessed and grateful that you guys are there doing what you're doing every day, even in the toughest of circumstances. So to the brave warriors. And why would a global pandemic stop Florida from being Florida? There was a gender reveal party in Florida, and that sparked a 10-acre brush fire. So not only are they figuring out social distancing, but they also now are taking first responders away from their main priority, which is COVID-19, and they burned down 10 acres trying to reveal the gender of their baby. So thank you, Florida, for always being there when we need you. They announced the class of 2020 for the Basketball Hall of Fame. Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and KG are all being inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. So congratulations to KG. New Yorkers are flooding divorce attorney offices with phone calls right now. So we can only deduce that because New York is ahead of us with the progression of COVID-19, that if you are a divorce attorney, you are probably going to start getting flooded with phone calls here in the greater New England area really quickly. I know we talked about it like a week and a half ago, but it bears bringing up again. Are you guys getting into even more ridiculous fights being locked in the house with your significant others now than before? Because every day, I mean, I know that, maybe in your household, one person is essential and at work, so maybe you're not spending as much time together as other households where maybe both people are arguing over the home office and the computers because they're both trying to work from home. But if you've got look at you guys, Florida, not like the rest of us, Florida, not like the rest of us, Florida, not like the rest of us. Exactly. They never let us down. What's up, Andrew in New Hampshire? But if you guys are getting in ridiculous fights, you need to please share them with the rest of us, because there are some of us that are spending a lot of our time. No fights on my end, Mistress Carrie. My elderly father needs peace. Well, there you go. Exactly. Find your happy place, take a deep breath and a sip of sangria, and you'll be okay. I have a sister and brother and parents fighting at each other today, says Roberto. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, things are going to start getting real. And the president today says that this coming week and next week, he is predicting are going to be the toughest so far and possibly overall, depending on how this goes. So, all kidding aside, we really need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to take care of ourselves, physically, obviously, mentally, spiritually, however you need to make sure that you're taking care of yourself first, because just like they say on an airplane, you got to put the mask on yourself before you can help someone else with theirs. And so you've really got to start with your own, your own health, and really make sure that you're paying attention to being careful if you leave the house. Obviously, the Coronavirus Commission is saying that we should all be covering our faces now when we leave the house. And, that you got to make sure that you're mentally okay, that you're handling either the close quarters that you're in, or, everyone is having such financial stress right now. Maybe you have someone in the family that's sick and you're not able to get to them. And so you've really got to take care of yourself. And I've seen a lot of videos and a lot of things on the internet about how people's kids are reacting to it. The same thing kind of happened after 9/11. There were a lot of discussions about how little kids were absorbing the news that, even if they weren't getting exposed to the television coverage or the news coverage, it was impossible for kids at that time to not really know that something bad and sad was going on. And so I'm just curious kind of how you guys are talking to your kids about this. And maybe you guys could share some of the things that have kind of worked about how you've answered tough questions. So if you put those in the comments, you don't have to get into personal information about your kids, but at least their ages might help, just so that other people might be like, oh, you know what? That's a really good way of explaining that to my kid. So if you have any, explanation or any questions that your kids have asked, we all kind of understand what it's like to deal with something like this through the eyes of an adult, but it's got to be scary and strange for kids that know they should be in school right now, or used to playing organized sports, or used to playing with their friends on the weekends and spending this much time in the house. And, they're definitely picking up on tension and, everything that's going on. So I'm really curious, how you guys are talking to your kids. Eric says, I just watched Spaz's live feed, Working Man in Quarantine. So Spaz has been quarantined in his basement by his family because he has been out working, and he's been yelling at everyone that's not working because he's out there working, and his wife and kids have relegated him to the basement because he's still out working and going out to the stores and all of that. And the rest of his family is worried that they're going to get sick because of it. So they've locked him in the basement, and he's slowly losing his mind on TikTok. So I'm just warning you that maybe you should watch Spaz's TikTok, because it's like a documentation of him losing his mind slowly. Andrew says, take care of yourself for sure. Like, exactly. You really gotta, understand how it is that you're feeling. I know for me, I've never been a huge drinker. And, partly because around a lot of the craziest parties that I've ever seen, like backstage rock star parties, I was usually still kind of working. And you've heard me swear on Facebook Live now, so you know that I get a drink in me and I start dropping F-bombs, which was a huge liability being live on the air. So I've never really been a huge drinker, and I allow myself one drink when I hang out with you guys in the war room. And, like the other day I had a Shirley Temple just because I'm just trying to keep myself in check to make sure that when I have a bad day, I'm just not depending on the booze to make it go away. And it's hard to kind of look at yourself in the mirror and go, okay, am I okay? Am I acting in a healthy way? Because I have family that I'm trying to take care of, and I have responsibilities. So Jeff says taking walks when I can really helps. It really does help. Going outside today, I worked out in my yard almost all day. I was moving stuff around in the garage. I rototilled my garden. The sun came out for a little while, and it felt really good just getting outside, running around with the dogs for a little bit. Tony, yes, you did miss the War Room artifact. You're going to have to go back and watch the video later when I post it when we're done. But it just felt really good, and it almost felt normal. Like, the other thing that I did today is I had to go to Home Depot, and I've been waiting to go to the store when I had a whole list of things I needed to get, because I don't just want to go to the store today for one thing and go to the store tomorrow for one thing. So I waited and was like, okay, I have a list of things that I need. I'm going to go out to one store. I'm going to get everything that I need, and then I'm going to come home. And I got to tell you, I was lulled into this everything's kind of okay thing when I was outside rototilling my garden, because in your yard, you're moving around freely, waving at the neighbor, like everything was normal. And then I went to Home Depot and I had to stand on an X and wait for my turn to get inside. And everyone was wearing masks. And Mark Straight, not that kind of a garden. I grow veggies and herbs and whatever. I'm not growing weed in the back 40 at the Mistress Carey compound. But I was definitely quickly reminded about how crazy the real world is. And I'm only leaving the house every few days, if at all necessary. And standing in line, I felt like I was in a zombie movie today at Home Depot. And I was only there for about 20 minutes, but I felt really, really strange. And it gave me a greater appreciation for everybody that's still working those jobs in places like Home Depot and the supermarket, you know, where you're going and you're dealing with the public and you're being careful. And, you know, it was just really strange. Daniel says it really is surreal seeing everyone with masks and gloves. It's really strange. It's like, you know, when you're driving and you look over and there's people in their own cars with masks on, or when you're at Home Depot and people have bandanas on and masks on, and it's Lou says, you want to see crazy, go to Walmart. I went to Home Depot and then just came home. You know, I've talked about it in the past. For a lot of years, I took a lot of crap for being a zombie prepper. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of glad that I've always been that way, because there's a lot of things that I had stockpiled in the house that I haven't had to go out and get just because I already had it in the house. So it's actually kind of eased my mind. People used to say, oh, you're so paranoid being a zombie prepper. And what I was always say is, I'm not paranoid. I just want to be prepared in case something really bad happens. And now that this is all going on, it's actually eased my mind a little bit to know that, you know, I have things in the house that I'm able to, you know like, okay, I'm going to be okay. I only need, if I need to leave the house, I only need to leave for a few things, and then I'm going to come right back. And William says, went to Walmart, everyone was wearing masks. I know. So, hey, Steph. What's up, CH? So it's just really, really strange to leave the house. I did allow myself, and I ordered it on the app so that I didn't have to have any financial exchange. I allowed myself to go through the drive-thru at Dunkin' Donuts today, and it allowed me to feel almost normal, because having my iced coffee that I would normally get like every morning on my way into the studio, like without even thinking about it. And I haven't done that in a long time. And so to go to Dunk's today and just get an iced coffee, just kind of, I really wanted one today. I just needed to feel normal. And doing that made me feel a little bit normal today. So to the people at Dunk's, you know, the ones that are still open, thank you guys for giving me a little while where I actually felt normal. They did, speaking of Walmart and Target are also limiting the number of shoppers in their stores, kind of like what Home Depot was doing, just to make sure that there weren't too many people in the store. I would also like to thank every single one of you from the bottom of my heart that hates pumpernickel bread. Thank you all. Because a couple of weeks ago, when I went to the store and kind of, you know, got whatever things that I thought I might need, there was no bread on the shelf, and there was a whole display of pumpernickel bread, and I bought a bunch of it and stocked my freezer with it, and it's my favorite. And today I got up and had pumpernickel toast, and it was so delicious. And it was the only thing that was left on the bread shelf when I went to the supermarket the last time. So for all of you guys that hate pumpernickel bread, you guys made my day. Wednesday, come here. Come here. Everybody wants to say hi. Come here. She's just giving me the hairy eyeball right now. She's like, I'll try and get her over here. But the pumpernickel bread this morning made my morning. So thank you. That's old person bread, says Kim. Look, don't judge my love of pumpernickel bread. I grew up in a bakery. Okay? I made bread as a kid. I'm 5th generation baker. I like all kinds of bread. But I happen to like pumpernickel bread. And we used to make it. And I miss it. So. Julia gets it. Pumpernickel grilled cheese. Now you're talking. Freaking delicious. Wednesday, come here. What's mommy got? Come here. She does not want to get off the couch, that little shit. I also saw something today. We talk about all the crazy viral videos that we see. Come here, Wednesday. You need a toy? I don't have a toy. Here, you want your pillow that you can kick off the couch? Come here. I saw a tutorial today. You're going to have to Google it. People are turning jock straps into face masks. We live in a world where people are making tutorial videos about how to turn jock straps into face masks. I'm trying to imagine a time where I am so worried about getting sick that I'm putting a jock strap on my face. There's got to be something else that you can make a face mask out of before a jock strap. Like seriously, like almost anything. I would rather wear a sock on my face. I would rather wear my panties on my face than pumpernickel and dill dip. Yes, so good. Jock straps. And if it's in your house, it ain't new. So now it's old, which means worn, which means you're thinking about the last time you went to the gym or went on a run or played in a softball league with the jock strap on, and now you're like, did I wash it enough? Because now I'm wearing it as protective equipment when I go to Home Depot. That's where we're at. So, jock strap or no jock strap? Like, where are you at on this one? Are you wearing it or no? Mark says, I am rolling on the floor. I watched the tutorial and I was like, I can't believe, like, this is the world we live in right now. Like, there's people on the International Space Station floating around in zero gravity, looking out a little window at this beautiful blue planet that we're on, and all of the modern technology that was required to get them up there and to allow them to sustain life while they are orbiting the Earth. And we're down here making masks out of jock straps. That's where we are right now, people. And people wonder why we get together every night at 8:30 and have a cocktail in my war room. Because there are people right now wandering the streets wearing jock straps on their faces. Arthur says, imagine Bane breathing through a jock strap. Well, my jock strap or someone else's, William wants to know. I don't know. Laura says, nope, all set. Maybe guys are willing to wear jock straps because you're like, whatever, if it's me, it's my junk that was in it, I'm all good with it. Zach says, my family has been making masks for nurses at UMass since my sister, who is an emergency department nurse, told them that they didn't have enough supplied. See, that's awesome. If you wear the jock strap, you may as well just get the ball gag. Well, that's not the same thing. I have not seen a tutorial video that makes ball gags medical device protection. Maybe. Is that a crazy world that we live in? It's just crazy, says Andrew. That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. Chocolate and Berkshire bourbon, Deborah says. That sounds delicious. At least the people on the space station are safe for this time being. Can you imagine? They're the only people that are not in danger of getting the coronavirus right now. And they're up there where 10 billion other things could go wrong. They are cramped in close quarters, literally orbiting the Earth in a machine, and they are safer than we are right now. Paul says pumpernickel grilled cheese with Munster cheese. Yes. Sandy says my neighbors are lighting off fireworks right now. Yeah, why not? Why not light off fireworks where we could accidentally light a fire and have to call the fire department? Let me tell you, now is not a time you want to blow off your digits. You do not want to show up at a hospital with a missing pinky because I have heard stories from medical professionals in other states, people that are in my family that work either in doctor's offices or in hospitals, where people with gunshot wounds that require surgery are being patched up, given oxys, and sent home because the hospitals can only handle COVID patients and surgeries are only being approved for the anesthesiologist just to intubate COVID patients. So I can't imagine how bad you would need to be to have surgery approved right now. So the last thing you want to do is something that is going to land you in the emergency room. Fireworks are not a good idea. There's not a lot of things that are a good idea right now. And he says, and they're huge fireworks too, she says. Frank says, great, now I want a sandwich. Wendy says, get me on a spaceship, please. You got to know like Elon Musk or Richard Branson or somebody or Jeff Bezos. They're the only ones. And you know what? Those guys are so rich that if coronavirus gets worse, they could probably just launch themselves up into orbit on their own damn rocket. Eric says Darwin Awards are at an all-time high right now. Exactly. Sean says, wow, stay out of the hospitals. I'm telling you, now is not the time that you want to end up in the hospital. Not at all. Just stay the hell as far away from there as you can. Not because the healthcare workers are, it's just because they're dealing with what they're dealing with right now. You just don't want to go there. Steph says, I cut my finger really bad and needs a stitch, but I am not going. No, you know what? Sterilize it and get some super glue. I am not a doctor, to quote the great Mike Shue, but you don't want to, especially with an open wound, you don't want to be around the hospital. And look, if you think your life is in danger, you call 911 and you ask the professionals. I'm just the buzzed, purple-haired former DJ in my war room during a global pandemic giving out medical advice. But I'm just telling you, now is not the time to be taking part in risky behavior if you can avoid it. Just put yourself in bubble wrap and stay safe. Stephanie says, they canceled my daughter Shelby's surgery for her ear tubes until next month. That's what I'm saying. Like, things that you need. I've had 2 different dental appointments to get a filling done, and it's gotten postponed. And I'm like, I think, that was a little sensitive. Like, but they're not going to do it. So just, let's see. Katrina says, I'm in for a pneumothorax, but under COVID precautions until they get my test back. I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. People are wearing jock straps, people, on their faces. Be careful. Sherry says, use super glue, LOL. No, actually, that's battlefield medicine. That's actually like a real thing, that they use that in a lot of situations, that they glue your wound shut and it works. If you're going to try and do some kind of home medicine, why don't you consult a medical professional and at the very least Google it, as LB would say. But just be careful, guys. Seriously, just be very, 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 very careful. Jeff says, just take a Tylenol. That's like the military advice, right? Just take some Motrin and it'll be fine. What else did I want to talk to you guys about today? We talked about the Bruins. We talked about the Basketball Hall of Fame. Oh, we got to talk about our cocktail. Crazy. So I gave you the recipe for Fernandez's Sangria last night. This is the book that I read all of the other recipes out of. Tonight's drink I selected, it is called the El Diablo. It is 2 ounces of silver tequila. I probably shouldn't be giving you tequila recipes and telling you guys not to do anything risky, right? An ounce of creme de cassis, juice of 1 lime, ginger ale, and a lime wedge to garnish. Pour the ingredients into a highball with crushed ice, fill with ginger ale, add the lime wedge, and serve with a straw, a paper straw, so you can save the turtles. but that's called an El Diablo. So if you're going to have an El Diablo, just be careful. Don't do anything stupid. Today's not the day that you want to learn how to juggle chainsaws off the internet. You know what I'm saying? Just chill. I actually was nervous rototilling the garden because I'm like, please don't let today be the day that I do something stupid with the rototiller. Eric, military advice, drink more water. Nick says, spicy V8 Bloody Marys with pickle juice is where it's at. You sound like you're already preparing for the hangover you're going to have tomorrow. Nicely done. Annette says, I'm pretty sure that I have a cavity. I'm pretty sure I have one too, Annette, and I cannot get a dentist appointment right now. El Diablo sandwich and a Dr. Pepper, says Ron. Lou just says, just chug the tequila. No, you've got to control yourself, people. We need to not be injured and end up in the emergency room. Rick says El Diablo, wasn't that a ZZ Top song? Nicely done. I was a bus girl at Fridays in Danvers in the 80s. I remember they had their own drink Bible. Yeah, everybody has them. I have like 4 of these. Look, if we're stranded in the house long enough that I get through this entire book and all the drink recipes, I've got another book waiting in the wings, but I'm really hoping that we get the fuck out of our houses long before that. Don't forget the item from the war room before you go. George, you already missed it. I did too tonight. So after I post this video, you're going to have to go back and watch it. Heather says, my dog is currently watching The Sopranos. That is fantastic. Terrence says, I can't drink alcohol. I'm allergic. Well, Terrence, you know what? That last sip I took, that was all for you, buddy. I'll take it for you. Let's see. Sean says, you can buy temporary filling putty at CVS. Really? Good to know. I had no idea. If this cavity that I have gets any worse, I'm going to end up having to go and put a mask on and put myself in bubble wrap and drive down to CVS and get some of that stuff. I did not know that was a thing, so thank you for that. See, we're sharing ideas here. All right, one more time. If you guys haven't taken the picture with me in it, you got to take it. Ready? Please don't Photoshop anything with my giant mouth. Okay. You got to tag me in these pictures. You got to tweet them to me at Mistress Carrie or tag me on Instagram at Mistress Carrie WAF. But I would love to be part of your social distancing, stay-at-home order photos when you guys are watching Cocktails in the War Room every night with me. So one more time. Julia says temporary filling putty can be a lifesaver. I didn't even know it was a thing, but thank you guys for letting me know because I might need it. Also, liquid bandage at CVS, a.k.a. super glue. Exactly. Thank you guys for hanging out with me every night at 8:30. I look forward to it. You guys give me a reason to take a shower and put on pants. I love digging through my old concert shirts to find shirts that you guys will love. I look forward to finding a drink that you guys might think is interesting in my book and walking around my war room trying to find things that I can show you guys and tell you stories about. And I love just knowing that every night I'm going to sit down and be able to just kind of talk things out. You know, that we can all kind of swap ideas and just kind of vent on how we're all feeling, check in on each other, leave links for each other on, maybe some information that we all need. We got to be there for each other. And as strange as this is, I know it helps me. I don't know if this helps you guys, but you guys are helping me in a major, major way just to feel normal. And I'm not even talking about the coronavirus stuff, but mourning the loss of my job too, that you guys, I know that you guys understand what I'm going through because so many of you guys are laid off and at least furloughed and not working right now. And so it just feels really good to be able to talk it out with people that understand and, to know that there's people out there that are having the same feelings and emotions that I have and, that are scared and uncertain, but at the same time, feeling really proud of our communities for the way that they're getting together and helping each other. And, knowing that we're all chipping in a little bit where we can, donating blood where we can, and just really trying to be as selfless when we can, checking in on our neighbors and making sure everybody has the things that they need, and getting things for a neighbor at the store so that they don't have to go out and you can just go out for them. I mean, have you guys noticed that you're just nicer to the people in the neighborhood lately, besides the people that are lighting off the giant fireworks we were talking about earlier? But like, in a really strange way, it's just really nice that, we're all kind of trying to be a little bit nicer to everyone. And it just makes me feel really good. And you guys are helping me with that too, because I know that, we're all choosing to be here every night at 8:30 because we want to have somebody to talk to, and we want to swap ideas and swap information and give each other a giant virtual hug because we can't actually touch. And that we're not wearing jock straps on our faces right now. So you guys stay safe. One more toast to all of the first responders and the healthcare workers, all of the essential workers, everybody that's keeping this moving around, keeping us all healthy and at home, and just, we made it through another day. You know what? At the end of the day, we have to salute that, because this is hard for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. Whether you're separated from family because you can't be with them, whether you're dealing with illness yourself, just to everyone, we made it through another day, and we're going to make it through tomorrow too. And you just got to think that way. Stay positive. I will see you guys tomorrow at 8:30. Cheers. I love you guys. Stay safe. Cover your faces. Don't lick anything strange. Wash your damn hands. I love you.